Hey friends, Barkey Dog here, back with another movie review. Now, a little while ago, I reviewed this here indie movie, Monster Force Zero. This was a love letter to sci-fi and comic book fans, and I rather enjoyed it. Recently, out of the blue, I got an email from one of the creators of Monster Force Zero, and they asked if I'd take a look at their newest effort and maybe review it. So I said, well, sure. I'll give it a look-see, and I'll give it an honest review, and they were cool with that, so that's what we're looking at this time. We're talking about Dinonauts, an animated feature from 2024. Our story goes like this. One day in outer space, this Mugatu and his little dinosaur friend get captured by this evil space empire. The Mugatu escapes from his prison cell in this spaceship and gets some weapons, then starts looking around to find his pal. The dinosaur dude has had his brain taken out because the space empire guys are experimenting and stuff. So the Mugatu stuffs a handy brain into the dinosaur dude's head, and they escape the ship. Now, the brain in question was, it turns out, a super brain, and the little dinosaur dude becomes a Gorn dude, 'cause he now has superpowers and stuff. But he doesn't know the full extent of them, which is revealed over the course of the story. Well, the evil space empire guys are hunting for our heroes, and the chief bad guy commissions a tracker bounty hunter type to get the job done. They want that brain back. Our heroes, meanwhile, are making friends along the way as they try to return home. One is a mechanic dude who has a really cool spaceship, but he needs other people to help co-pilot it, so that works out. They also meet a sort of mystic who can guide them with wisdom and stuff, and a triceratops dude, and this tiger lady. And then there's this outer space disco lady with a magic 8-ball who kinda guides them. Together they are the Dinonauts. As they all go along, our heroic Gorn dude is learning more about his new powers and where they came from, while the Dinonauts set out to put the kibosh on this here evil space empire and make the galaxy safe for democracy. Now, the Monster Force, I had that on a DVD, and it had some extras and behind-the-scenes stuff on it, but this one is only on streaming so far as I can see, and I didn't ask the filmmakers, and they didn't say, so I had to make some inferences about how this was put together. From what I gather, one of the creators used to watch these old-school 80s cartoons back in the day. You know, GoBots, Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and stuff like that. And so then he wrote this little space adventure comic story for him and his friends based on these kind of cartoons. See, the same thing happened to me. I had this math teacher, and I hate math to begin with. Ugh. But she would drone on and on, I swear. She sounded like Lilith from Cheers, only she wasn't as attractive as Baby Nureth. No. So it was boring with math delivered in this boring monotone, droning on and on. Oh God, I was bored out of my gourd in her class. So I'd sit there drawing these little space adventure comics in my notebook. It was self-defense. Passed the class, somehow. Barely. Anyway, what the filmmakers did here, apparently, was to take this comic from back in the day and use the same designs the guy came up with and the overall storyline and turned it into an animated feature. All of that is me guessing, but it kind of tracks. The book version is on Amazon Kindle if you're curious. I might have to check that out. Looks like it's mostly text with some illustration and aimed at kids, which makes sense given the old school cartoon vibe from this movie. So where does this thing fall down? Well, In the first place, there's a lot going on, and you can tell this is several chapters sort of spliced together. So it might have been better to make it into a mini-series of like 15 or 20-minute installments. And since it's all kind of mashed together, the music gets very repetitive. But to be fair, that's how the music was in those old-school cartoons. That might not be so noticeable if the movie was split up. Here, I don't know that they used AI to make this, but it's clear they were using some CGI, like this spaceship. That's clearly a computer-generated artifact. And they weren't making this the old-school way with cell animation and all that, so you could tell they used a computer program or editing software to make the mouths move and that sort of thing. But leaving all that aside, I was really impressed by just how well they were able to emulate the look and feel of these cartoons from back in the day. They were made in a quickie, limited animation format where they'd recycle actions and poses to save time and money. With a few bits like the credits better animated, and I think they successfully translated that look, that feel, to Dinonauts. There are some softwares you can get to do this kind of thing. Moho is one, Toon Boom is another. I have one called Anime Studio Pro that I bought several years ago. I thought it might be fun to make some little cartoons, so I bought the thing. I installed it, I opened it, all excited to get going, stared at the interface, and then closed it. After screening Dinonauts, I remembered I had this thing, found the disc, installed it on my newer computer that I use now, and same thing. I opened it, stared at it, and closed it. Meanwhile, in the intervening years, the company that made this sold it off to Moho, I guess, and they don't update it or support it or anything anymore. They just use their new stuff. Oh well. I might try Moho's stripped down version. That's like $50, but I don't know. Making cartoons is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. More than most people realize. So knowing that makes it easy to give any flaws or perceived flaws in Dinonauts a pass. But it's still impressive, and it really is a love letter to those old cartoons we used to race home from school every afternoon to watch. Dinonauts is just the sort of crazy mashup of elements it put in these cartoons, since that's what, as I infer, this was originally based on. So I'm giving Dinonauts 2.25 paws up. It's kind of fun, and if you remember those cartoons, I think you'll get a kick out of this effort. And I'm looking forward to whatever these guys come up with next. Dinonauts is streaming on most of the platforms except Netflix, so you can track it down fairly easily. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.